Hi everyone. So the Still Age of Darkness. This chapter or book is called Face of Treachery. Its characters are Bran or Braun and Demetrius or Demetriax. Bran or Braun is a Raven Guard uh, battle barge admiral captain, the senior ranking officer. Is same with Demetrix, except he's a world eater. Uh, he's from World Eaters. They're in the Isvan system, the same Isvan, and right after the events or during the events of the Isvan 5 betrayal. So this what happens narratively is we're following the perspective of Demetriax as he's pursuing a salamander frigate, and the battle barge, I guess, can is a rather when it's at full power with its engines can leave behind other ships. So the flotilla that Demetrius is traveling with, he's leaving behind to confirm to have the kill in his hand. The salamander is, I think, if I didn't say, it's near Isvan 6. The ship is using asteroids as cover. It's a very dense asteroid belt as cover, and he's navigating through that, and that's difficult for the battle barge. Demetrius orders warp torpedoes to disable the Salamander's engine. There's some suspense as there's the wait for the torpedoes to reach their target. They do. He and disables the engines as was the goal. Uh, Demetrix comments that the Salamander is a novice for not turning the ship into so that the front of the ship hits the that's where the torpedoes hit the front of the ship where it won't cause engine damage. And then at this moment, Angron, the Primarch of the World Eaters, sends out a message to all World Eater flotillas to rally to him around Isvan 5 or 4 to finish the last of the Raven Guard. And he it's worded in a very Angron fashion. There's a lot of rage and in the voice actor's voice and pain and uh, eagerness. And Demetrius ignores that to get the kill, to confirm get the kill on the Salamander vessel, which he proceeds to do. We switch perspective to Braun, who with he's in a battle barge and he has two other ships in his little battle group, and they are keeping quiet, stealthy to avoid detection. They ignore a message from an Iron Hands frigate because Braun cannot assume that the Iron Hands are trustworthy. Um, and so instead, they wait a little longer. There's some commentary on what decisions they should make and what information is available to them, and also a bit of observing the scenery of the static of the screens and the wrinkled sash of his Imperial Guard officer. That there's a little bit of an attachment there as shown as the story progresses because of this officer's background. He's a very military history family, and the officer and Braun later in the story undervalues or questions, doubts the guy's ability. but he's proved wrong. Anyway, so Braun in their battle group intercept Primarch Angron's message, as well as the coordinates of their meetup. So Braun decides to go to those coordinates as bait to draw off other ships. Or that's not. It's a little confusing. Because narratively it's very clear what happens, but like as a strategic military point of view, it wasn't so clear. So Braun's plans to use his battle group as bait to draw enemies to him. Where he is, it's not. The only thing that's clear is that he plans the location to be where he can rendezvous with Primarch Korvax and transport him from Korax from the surface of the planet to their battle barge. So I'd assume this was Isstvan 5, but Isstvan 4 was thrown in. So that's why it's confusing. So narratively, that's what happens. They arrive at the atmosphere of Isstvan 5. This maneuver draws in Demetrius in pursuit. Braun instructs this red-sashed army officer to prepare, a mission for his men and how long it would take. Is 30 minutes. The mission to send drop birds down to the surface to pick up and transport Korax to them, and he thinks 30 minutes is too much time, and that because they have to be in atmosphere, that's a vulnerable position from attack for to be attacked to defend. And so what ends up happening is Korax successfully gets onto the battle barge. Braun thinks it's curious they weren't under attack because Demetrius' ship had arrived, was in that superior position, and then suddenly retreated away. And we know what happened. We got to go back to Demetrius' position or perspective. And what happened is Demetrius was giving the orders to open fire for this. And then a delegate from the Alpha Legion who had been present this entire story, he's a named character, but I didn't remember it, and he was sidelined in the very first few paragraphs by Demetrius from talking. This Alpharius delegate says that I speak with the authority of the War Master that Korax should be spared and let to escape. Demetrius can't believe it. Suddenly, this Alpha Legion delegate pulls a pistol to Demetrius. Demetrius he's cocky and doesn't think there's a big deal, but then he realizes his fellow World Eater legionnaire behind him has a gun to his head. And it's revealed that World Eater is an Alpha Legion. That World Eater is a traitor. He was a double agent for the Alpha Legion, or just a regular spy. He was a regular spy, And they both of these people of the Alpha Legion start saying their name is Alpharius, and then they shoot Demetrius in the head, and the end of the chapter is Demetrius slowly dying. And so I liked the chapter. I liked it a lot. I liked really kind of first time in the Horus Heresy series any perspective from Raven Guard. It was once again nice to see where the bias and memes of the Alpha Legion come from. Um, it, it made me pink for sure. Um, and then I don't know, some description of, you know, the of you know flying through space was nice. So I liked it. It was quite nice.